Tiff and the Punisher ready for a stand, facing down the system with a plan in hand. Families torn apart, it's a painful sight. They're here to make it right, under the moon's soft light. CPS on the doorstep, knocking at the door. Mothers crying, children hiding on the floor, fighting for the family's hearts, heavy yet bold. In every whisper story, the truth is being told. Free our kids, save the family, hold them tight. Every voice, every heart shining through the night. Fight for the Constitution, stand your ground. It's not over until justice is found. Podcasts and voices breaking through the noise, speaking for the silenced, giving them a choice. Breaking down the walls, lifting up the veils. Truth comes marching in, guided by the trails. Fade backing down till the dawn's early light, standing tall and firm, ready for the fight. The one they try to silence, but they won't be ignored. Freedom's melody echoes in every chord. Free our kids, save the family, hold them tight. Every voice, every heart shining through the night. Fight for the Constitution, stand your ground. It's not over until justice is found.
They are taking our kids every day. I shout them in and no one has a thing to say. For those who have been isolated, don't be worried, you have a voice today. So listen up everyone, here is the story. Child Protective Services is real. CPS is what they call it. They want our kids because it fills a lot of people's wallet. We all think it won't be us. We say when they come we will be so tough. It all sounds good when there's no one to take them, but when they come, your voice gets to breaking. Stay calm, step away. CPS ain't taking no one today. We are educated. Stay calm, step away. CPS, you need to leave. I know the tricks up your sleeve. You can't do what you're trying to do. We have done our homework. Don't do a damn thing without a warrant. You no longer will steal our kids this way. Tiff and the Punisher have come for the calling. They are giving us the CPS warning. Their voice is loud and clear. We stop losing our kids this year. Tiff wants to fight the entire planet. She is tired of our kids being taken, goddammit. She's been fighting CPS for 30 years, bringing children home from this disgusting mess. The Punisher is screaming out loud, abolish CPS and tear it down. I want all our kids promise to come back. Look at all those kids, pictures held up like thin tags. Together we are stronger than we need. We will tear down CPS with high speed. We will do so much being together. Birds of a feather fly together. So watch out, CPS, here we come. Picking you one by one. We promise to bring back the family. And prosecute the caseworkers unhandily. So give us back the kids you have taken. Tiff and the Punisher sending you all on a vacation. The one with bars in the windows, and the only games you play are on Nintendos. Corruption in courts, here we come. We won't stop until it's done. You judges need to learn what you stand for. This is Tiff and the Punisher warrior, and we cry out to all of you out there. We need support for a cause that many don't care. All children are being stolen way too often. So CPS, we plan on doing the stopping. Stop.
What's up, Tiff?
We're about to get a big ass snowstorm here.
Oh,
Actually,
yes.
it's covering 36 states. Even my sister, who never gets snow, is getting at least 10 inches in Delaware.
I don't know if we're supposed to get snow up here, are we?
I just know that it's coming, and it's starting tonight, and it's ending on Tuesday.
Wow. 10 inches. Well, guess what you'll be doing? Just saying. But
I'm
that's
so
good.
over this.
I know you guys are getting pounded down there this year.
Yeah.
We're sitting up here in Maine with nothing.
Well, I'm gonna blame Spanny for this because I told her, I love you and you're my twin, but you need to keep that Alaska shit in Alaska and stop sending it down here.
Yeah, I mean, are they even getting any snow up there in Alaska?
And probably not, because we're about to get it all here.
Yeah, coming down across the middle of the United States.
It's terrible.
So yep, it is. It is. It is. Man, I'll tell you, stuff's heating up, huh? You see how bad this stuff is in Maine? I've been telling everybody for the longest time that Maine is the hub of this stuff, and I know we talk about it everywhere, but damn, Maine is, they're just showing that. I don't know if it's Maine's just as bad or worse than everything, or if people are just calling Maine out on it. But I mean, you seeing the stuff that they're talking about?
Yeah.
They're not following the rules, they're not following the guidelines, they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing. Parents are losing their kids on because of this, that, and the other. This is crazy.
Yeah. As soon as I read it and I saw it, I said, oh my God, Vinny needs to give this to his lawyer.
Mm-hmm.
Because damn well they're not telling the lawyers what's going on.
Oh, of course not. I send them all kinds of information to give to his lawyers and stuff, and they don't even know half the stuff that he gives them that they even existed to help him in his case. Because the problem is that they don't give parents lawyers that are in family court.
Your microphone's breaking up.
I'll try that. The problem is that they don't give lawyers. They don't give you family court lawyers when you go get court appointed attorneys. They're like bankruptcy lawyers and all of this stuff, and they're not even used to this type of court balance. This battle. They don't even know what the laws are because it's a whole different courthouse in there. That's not the regular rules.
I remember watching an interview with Judge Judy, and I am not a fan of Judge Judy. I mean, I like her because she's very well spoken and she's very blunt, but she said, if there are not cameras in family court, there's a reason. And the reason is they are not doing what they're supposed to be doing. Every court in all the United States should have cameras in the courts.
Mm-hmm. That's facts. I mean, why wouldn't
Because
you? They say because the kids, but they could take the name of the children out. That's
they can
easy,
redact it.
right?
They can
That's
redact
very easy.
video.
Yep.
Um, my whole thing is I asked for a copy of the court cam when the judge was screaming at me and he was pissed and he wanted to throw my shit out until I said federal court, and then everybody's attitude changed.
Mm-hmm.
And of course the sheriff's department said, we didn't have the cameras on. Why not? Why didn't you have the cameras on? Nobody wants to answer that question. I'll tell you why they have it. And I'm going to tell you how I know they have it. Now, I got my gun rights restored back in 2021. So the judge said, Ms. Wise, as soon as I sign this order, you're going to be taken into a room. Your picture's going to be taken and you're going to be re-fingerprinted. And beside your name, it's going to have your picture and ROR, which is restoration of rights. I said, okay. I'm sitting in there, and guess what is on this big monitor? Every courtroom in that courthouse.
Yep.
Now, they did turn the volume down because I was in there, but those cameras were on.
Mm.
So I knew they were lying to me.
Mm-hmm. They're lying all the time.
Yeah. I even had somebody tell me they tried to do, they did a Freedom of Information Act when the police was at their house. And it wasn't about Child Protective Services, something else. And I said, request the body cam footage. All of a sudden, their body cameras weren't working that day.
Of course they weren't. Of course they weren't.
This is why I tell people, you record them too.
Yep. Yep.
So today, as I'm preparing for this god-awful snowstorm that we're getting, I was watching one of my shows that I like to watch, which is Accused or Innocent.
Oh,
And I'm
okay.
pretty good at predicting who's going to get off and who's not. I'm in here crying, right? Because I'm like, yes, I knew it. They should have never been in that position. Anyway, so I hear one of the attorneys say to a prosecutor, they were trying to get this case dismissed or they wanted more time or whatever. And he said, absolutely not, because that would be a great injustice for my client. So I said, okay. So I said, let me look up the legal definition of injustice. So I got it on my phone just for tonight. It says definitions and citations. The withholding or denial of justice in law almost variably applied to the act, fault, or omission of a court. So it's fraud, deception, and it's an injustice to the other party, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's some cases on here, like Silvery versus United States. So I said, well, people, when they start suing these social workers and these judges and these lawyers and whoever else has committed an injustice, they need to have this in their documents, because the CPS lawyers and their lawyers, I meant, are all lying, right? They withhold evidence. They won't give you your case file. In Vinny's case, it took them all this time to get his discovery, which the prosecution was supposed to hand over months ago. And I believe, and then that's when I sent you that, because everything going on in Maine is a very, very, very traumatic injustice for parents all across the United States. But you're right. They pointed out Maine.
Mm-hmm. I'm telling you, Maine is the head of this snake. Maine is the one that they're starting everything in, and they're passing it down and filtering it through.
So I suggest people go to their phones and Google injustice, because there's 2 cases in there, and start giving that shit to your lawyers if they're good. Like Vinny needs to give his to his lawyer, because it's an injustice what they're doing.
Yep.
In Maine,
Well, they're not
every
even
parent
following
in
their
Maine
own. They're not
should
even
have
following
this.
their own rules. Right.
And not only their own rules, it said they aren't even following federal laws.
Right. They're just rogue. They're doing whatever the hell they want to do. That's it. Period.
Now, whoever
Disgusting.
did that audit in Maine needs to do an audit in the other 50 states.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I bet you that we find that they all are failing big time.
Yes.
That all of these organizations, all of these CPS groups, DHHS, whatever you want to call them, DHR, all of these things, none of them are going by what the rules say. Because you know what? They wouldn't have all of these kids in custody, because the number one thing they're supposed to be doing is keeping their kids in the home and not taking them out. That's not supposed to happen.
What
You're
is
supposed
that
to be
other
assisting your
case that
family.
we were looking up right before we went live?
Oh, hold on. Let me pull it up here.
Did you send it to me?
Pagliaro and Trinzi. And that's the one that says that the statements of the counsels are brief or argument while are enlightening to the courts, but they are not sufficient for purposes of granting a motion. So, I mean, that's it. That means that, like they go there, and just because they submit an affidavit saying that you're a bad parent, it's not sufficient for the evidence of that.
Right. And affidavits are supposed to be the truth.
Mm-hmm.
They're not supposed to fit a narrative that they want.
Right. It's supposed to be what the story is and the facts of it, and you're supposed to be able to you're supposed to be able to go against that. They're supposed to submit that affidavit to you, and you're supposed to get the chance to deny it, or to argue it, or you don't do anything. But regardless, they don't even give you that chance. When they substantiate you, they submit that stuff, go to the court, they have that against you, and then boom, you haven't even heard anything. You haven't gotten that other affidavit. You've gotten nothing that says that you're abusing your child. It's out of control. They just do whatever they want. It's a rogue court system that needs to be shut down.
And that's why I'm working so hard in Virginia to get the word assume and the word belief out of our codes and statutes. Because as I was telling a police officer that I know, because I only deal with one, I said, you, not in uniform, they don't know who you are. You walk in a courtroom and you say, hey, I believe that my child or grandchild, I said, whatever the case may be, is being abused. They're going to say, you need to get out of my courtroom, bring back some evidence, right? I said, but you put your uniform on and you walk in that courtroom as a law enforcement officer and you say, I believe, they're going to give you a removal order. And he agreed with me 100% because he knows. He also told me they know when the police come that it does not calm the situation down. CPS workers and police know that it heightens it, and it doesn't, and they know it's going to get out of control when the police are called. And I told him, I said, that they pick straws when they got to come deal with this big mouth blonde bitch. And he started laughing, and he said, it's not because whatever you said, because he didn't want to repeat what I said. I was like, big mouth blonde bitch. He said, no. They know that you know your shit, and they never know what you're about to throw at them if they step on your property. And I said, you know what?
Yeah.
They wouldn't have that problem if they followed the laws.
Right, but they don't.
They do not.
Nope. They don't at all. Okay.
What are some of the comments? I can't read that stuff.
Hold on 1 second. Let me look at here. Downing versus USA. I'm reading this. Jonathan sent me something here. I'm reading this case right here. Downing versus the USA, which ironically is following facts. Affidavit for criminal conspiracy. Okay. Thank you, Jonathan, for that. Let's see here. Boom, boom, boom. All right. So let's see. Let's go to the chat here. Athena, let's see. She says, backstage. All right, Gunners. Okay, you got it, man. Hold on 1 second. What do you do when the state doesn't take your children, but the judge does? The state troopers, 3 different PDs, and the kid providers advising you get a DVPO against your perpetrator and their dad. Domestic violence protection orders, I'm guessing, DVPO. Yeah, but what do you do when the state doesn't take your children, but the judge does? So what's she saying there? That the judge gave the children to the abuser? Is that what she's saying?
It says it sounds like CPS didn't take her kids, but the judge did.
Right.
And then then there was 3 state troopers and 3 different police departments that came to the house. Well, first of all, if he's beating your ass, you need to get away from him. I mean, that's just common sense. If there is no domestic violence and they're just trying to split you all up and they're using your kids against you, you need to file a complaint against the judge.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And get that judge out of your case. Try to get them try to get them
to recuse
themselves. Yeah, we'd all like to see him go to jail or prison, Tammy.
Yeah, wouldn't be nice.
Yeah, please take them away from us. But yeah, like Tiff says, you know what? Get that man out of your life first before you do anything. I know it's hard, and you know we got plenty of support for you if you need it that we could set you up with. She's in Alaska too, so we got people right there.
Yes, we do.
So we definitely have people that can help you with whatever you need. But hold on 1 second here. Hey, Tiff, guess what?
What?
Guess who's backstage? What do we got back there? Who's coming in? Who's starting tonight?
Take back our kids, bring them home now. Constitution, strong blood on line. No more corruption, let freedom fly.
Guys, we're a music show where we want you to come join us tonight at 9:30. Let me tell you something. We are going to have a groundbreaking opening show, and it's going to blow your mind. As a matter of fact, I've been putting stuff together to walk through a lot of the legalities and walking you through case law and some of those other things of how they apply to your cases, and going through some history, even stuff that is not even available to you on the internet that is still in law books, and it still is law that they have to overturn. One big thing in our huge personal case is we now have hard evidence that our CPS worker committed perjury about the initial signing of the contract that was forged on my case, that he said that permission was given him by my attorney, where now I have hard evidence to show that, matter of fact, I was advised, and it's in text messages, people. Gotcha, bitch.
Excellent.
My caseworker is going down for perjury, and that means the whole case, from everything he's touched, your case is now thrown out because your caseworker has lied on the stand about the actual contracting as well as entry. Therefore, anything he says is an absolute lie, and the courts will not recognize anything he says as being entered into evidence and being trustworthy and without prejudice or without lying on the stand. In other words, you're done. As far as my case is concerned, on top of the entry, we have just tied it all together to say, we got you that you lied on the whole thing, and here's the evidence of it. Why? Because it's all dated and it's all digitally protected. This is why you use text messages, and this is why you take and use videos. Protect yourself, because there is now a footprint that they're screwed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there really needs to be a Brady list for CPS workers. Just like they have a Brady list for police officers, they need a Brady list for CPS workers.
Listen, we're not going to just do CPS workers, but understand when you take and file against them, let alone the big case that we're working on, that Darren and I, we have got to get together and get some more stuff on this in some time. Listen,
I
our
got it.
is using the evidence that I've already provided you guys with every state committing treason and sedition. It's just filling in the blanks. But now you go into this is taught. This is an act of where there's no more. That this also means, because this has been enacted, all CPS and social workers out there dealing with the public or coming into people's homes have now committed a felony, and it's a felony with an endorsement against children. Why? Because that's exactly what they will never work ever again with children, nor will they ever work for the public, because you're going after them beyond their bond. Once you wear out their bond, they never get another bond. Number two, you go after them personally for anything else. That means anything you profited from doing that job, we, the government and or us, we can sue you for, or they can seize. That's how good we're going. And by the way, just for those out there, if you think that, hey, we're talking smack or this, hey, guess what? We're already talking to the FBI, the DOJ, and guess what? We're even in with our new president-elect, that's right, Donald J. Trump, through the RFK project. So he has been made aware, and they're waiting for our case specifically, because it changes everything for everybody out there, even to the point of saying, return our children now. And you're all criminals. Because all we have to do when the investigation opens, one, that's a cease and desist immediately. Number two, all we have to do is go into your CPS case files. And if you don't maintain them, it's automatically a felony. That means you can't tamper with that evidence, because just tampering with that evidence is a felony, because they are required by federal law. That means anything they got paid, if they don't have that stuff, that means every bit that they've ever got from the Social Security Fund, they now have to repay, which goes on us, the taxpayers. You got to remember, this is about we the people, man. This isn't about us against the government. You got to get that word out of your mouth. We are the damn government. We are the one that calls the shots. We need to hold them accountable. And if you got to understand, the thing that they fear the most, and that's one of the things we're going to take and show tonight, is the progressive movement of CPS experimenting all the way back to the 1960s and 70s of a small group of the African American community, and how it transferred over into modern day CPS. They test these things out, people, including those vaccines and stuff like that. You know, the second we have the one project did it with the Native Americans, testing those drugs on them, doing this, the LSD experiments during the Vietnam era. This is facts. But here's the problem. This exposes the deepest root of this is going to lead you into the money makers. Why? Because now we have other information. We now have a resource that can tell us, every state, whether or not they are profiting, and they are profiting in some states, not just a state, but a small group of people. Just in Tennessee, there are 397 people that have an interest bearing in removing your children in this. And we have the evidence. And we have the link to get to all your states. Why? Because it's called the Freedom of Information Act, and you can't take it down, because it's done and monitored through the United States government for the Freedom of Information Act. The states don't have access to it. Bam! You're done. So, folks, join us
tonight, 9:30. It's going to be good.
Just remember to understand, and I love this shirt. And guys, I've had a great weekend. What's that say, Darren?
I am the weapon. That's badass, man. I am the weapon.
This is a tool.
Right. I am the weapon. That's badass, Gunner.
But we're going to fight you in your own courtroom and defeat you and take you completely down. And the beginning video, it's going to say a whole lot. And Darren, I got to get that to you, or we got to get together after the show.
I'll call you when we're done.
The video is going to tell you everything that we're going to do, and that's going to be our opening video.
All right, man.
What do you think, guys?
I'll watch it tomorrow while I'm looking at the snow.
You better stay up tonight and watch my show, damn it. Otherwise, I'm gonna come get you.
Yeah, you got nothing to do.
Hey, are you getting snow?
Yeah, no, we're getting freezing rain here, just south of Knoxville. There is snow, several inches of snow that are coming down in the Lexington, Kentucky area, some parts of North Carolina, but we live in the valley, so it's a little bit warmer. But we do expect it to freeze overnight. And because of these mountains and hills and everything else, they tend to shut a lot of things down and roll it up. We just don't have the equipment, nor are our streets flat. You're going up mountains and everything else. Guys, be careful in this weather. Make sure you pack. If you guys are getting out and it is this bad, please make sure that you have water, a source for a flame or heat, not just electric or batteries. The ability to start a fire is definitely someplace warm, somehow to take and do that. There's a lot of different methods. If your electric goes out, doesn't mean your gas is shut off. If you have gas, you can use a lighter or a match or something to light it. Old school method, put a pot of boiling water on there and it will help you survive. Trust me. And keep those water pipes just going and dripping if you have to. If it's getting that cold, well, hopefully you got one of those real good spigots or anything else you're using for them to, it's back up in the wall and gives you a little bit more time. Watch out for broken pipes. Be careful. Like I said, blankets are real good. Huddling together, group energy. Guys, it's going to get cold. We're getting ready to get hit with a huge blast front as far as our weather. Guys, keep your kids safe. If you have your children, keep yourself safe. Why? Because we're here to fight another day, and we're getting ready to turn the change of everything. And they know they're hurting and they're coming. They know their days are numbered. That's why they're scared. Which is why, from my understanding from the most recent releases, that New York has called back Trump for his sentencing. We'll see what happens here, folks. We know they were going to try some things, but freedom's coming one way or another. So, guys,
I'm gonna watch your show tonight. I'm putting my
I
headphones
need a
on.
couple cigarette smokers in the background or something like that. You got over there. You know what I'm saying? Hey, all good. But hey, guys, and hello, Tam. Love you guys. Love our audience, guys. Spread the word because this is a brand new show. This about all your platforms, all your groups. Say, hey, you want to talk about CPS and CPS going down? We're going to talk about it. Why? Because we're filing the case that will tear them down. And it's not just me. You got to understand there's many heads. So if they take out one, somebody else will be there to replace. And that's all you have to do. Just because you're filing pro se doesn't mean when you're with a team, it just, Your Honor, I have no questions at this time. And let somebody else carry the load or somebody else. That's the way that stuff goes. So where one goes down, we can substitute or even a family member. But remember, we've got more tricks up our sleeve than what you think, don't we, Darren?
Yes, sir. We got the whole king caboodle, baby. We got big sleeves, got big guns to fill.
Remember, with modern technology, too, it doesn't mean you have to show up to a courtroom. Therefore, they have no way to entrap you, let alone where you're going to Zoom from. You could be out of the country or in a different place. But so long as you show up on that video call, that doesn't matter.
That's right. All right, Gunner. We'll see you tonight, 9:30. I'll talk to you after the show.
Work away. Roger that.
All right.
Bye.
Peace out. Whew. That's going to be an interesting one. We'll see. Make sure that YouTube can hold that one up. Good thing we're on Rumble and everything else.
Well, I'm gonna put my headset on.
Yeah, you better watch that. Make sure you guys check that show out, everybody, because he's full of piss and vinegar, and he's been ready. I hadn't talked to him all weekend, but I just let him do his thing because he's excited about this stuff, man. He takes this stuff very seriously, But back to what we were saying here, because Athena had said too, look at, she was a full-time hands-on homeschooling mom and a disabled Army veteran. She said that we were flat out denied lawyers when they were out of funds in fighting the DV and the SA allegations. The state cleared through 8 investigations. Here in Anchorage, Alaska, the judge has ignored all of it. And then we said to her, try to recuse the judge. And she said that the judge will not recuse himself. She's been trying for 5 years.
What?
Yeah.
She needs to get with Spanny.
Yeah.
Because Spanny's there in Alaska, and Spanny knows their court systems better than anybody.
She said what's weird about her daughter's case is they called her a danger to her son, and the visits were only going to be in public. But on the 27th, I got an email and asked, are they going to be in Okay, so where's the rest of that? They were going to be in. I don't know what she said more of. So the visits are in. Let's see. Hey, Chris, what's up, man? I got the divorce and post-separation abuse continued and took a horrific turn when I remarried and had a son. The judge will not recuse himself. She had been trying for 5 years. Full-time hands-on mom, Army veteran. Yeah, so that's where we're at. Yeah, we got to get you a Spanny for sure. Email cpsvhuntingjustice@gmail.com, and we'll get you in touch with the person that you need to be in touch with right in your own backyard. And she's a tank. She's a force to be reckoned with, to be sure. So I'm going to put that email address here on the bottom in a second. I'm just trying to find the right place to do it here. There we go. Man, that's awful. That's just terrible. And you know what? That's what they do too, is they put the damn kids with the abusers all the time. You know, like that's their MO. You know, to keep the thing going in the system.
That's because they know that they're coming back for those kids.
Yep. The money is still in the tank.
Yes. They already know they're coming back. It's just a matter of when.
When do you think they start these CPS investigations on us? You know, because you know they have the birthing alerts and they have all that stuff. But do you think that they pick this stuff out ahead of time? You think? Oh shoot, fire! Sorry, no R on there. Do you think that they pre-select these people that they come after? Do you think that there's files that they say, all right, this is a likely candidate for CPS? You know, like if your family's been involved in CPS before and all of that?
Yes. If your family had any, it doesn't matter if it was founded or unfounded, especially the women.
Right.
Right? Because our names go on a registry. Any child that has any interaction with CPS, their name goes in a registry, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they monitor, and I know that they do this. They can't tell me that they don't. So they monitor, and mostly it's the women, because they know eventually they're going to have kids. 90% of people that have a dealing with CPS have had a CPS case as a child, especially a woman.
Wow.
So yes, they monitor. And normally they will take the children from the women who've had a CPS case and swear up and down, well, we didn't know you had a CPS case. That's bullshit. They know. Your name is on a registry. Even if you were adopted, your name is on a registry with your new name. And they normally come in, swear up and down that they got a call. They'll come in, they'll take your child, and the exact same thing that happened in your parents' case is 9 times out of 10 is what's going to happen in your case.
Yeah. That's crazy. So you don't stand a chance.
You are a target.
So you don't stand a chance. If you were involved in CPS as a child, an investigation, if your parents were involved in that, then you don't stand a chance.
Nope.
That's terrible.
And of course, anytime a CPS lips are moving, they're fucking lying to you. They will tell you that what me, Darren, Gunner, Dallas, Connie, all these Spanny, all these advocates out here that are telling you the truth, they're going to tell you all that we're all lying to you.
Yeah, we're a joke.
And we don't know what we're talking about. But unfortunately for these people that are telling you this, it's not that we're smarter than them. We've all been through it already. We know how they work.
Right. No, I'm saying our listeners are smarter. They know that they know that we're not lying to them.
Well, of course our listeners know, but people who don't know, right, and that come across us and may not know us, or have watched us before, they'll be like, oh, they're full of shit. No, actually, we're not the ones full of shit. The courts are, CPS is, the prosecutors can be. one of the things that I was watching that I was crying about today too was I was telling you about the dude that his lawyers told him to go ahead and plead guilty, even though the state didn't have enough time or didn't have enough evidence to convict him, so they offered him a plea. His lawyers were like, we think you should take the plea or whatever. It was about shaken baby syndrome. Well, I always wondered what happened to this dude. Well, let me tell you what happened. I knew as soon as he took the plea bargain, because his attorneys were told that he could reunify with his wife and child. And I knew instantly that was a lie. So I always want to know what happens. Well, the follow-up came today. This man, I knew it when I first saw the episode what was going to happen, and I was right. So the prosecutor, the same one that offered him the plea bargain, went to the Court of Appeals and said he did not get enough time, and we want his parental rights taken from him. And guess what the courts did? The higher court. They mandated the judge to terminate his rights and mandated the courts to give him more time.
Jesus.
He was devastated. I was devastated, but I already knew what was coming. I said, the minute, and I'm screaming at my TV at the first episode. I'm like, don't take the plea. Don't take the plea. Go to trial. He took the plea. I said, you're done.
Wow. That's crazy. Absolutely insane. But it's all like just a written script. You know, you can see it from where it's coming from. You know, when they stop your visits, you can see immediately what they're trying to do. They're trying to alienate you from your child. It's not rocket science, you know, like, so you need to immediately go in and fight for your rights to visit your child, or they're going to get you for child abandonment. I mean, you can see these things. They might be always a step ahead, but we've been through this so many times that you know what's going to happen, you know, when they pull certain moves, you know, like if they do certain things like a protection order or something like that, or, you know, a DV something, you know, you can see that stuff from 100 miles away. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. And that's why we know what we're saying when we say this stuff to you. Because they have the same playbook that they play out over and over and over again, and they're all winning. Well, we need to stop that winning streak. That's what we need to do.
It was terrible. And then I watched it. It's called Accused or Innocent. Another girl, her kids were removed because she took her 2-month-old baby to the hospital. They accused her of baby shaken syndrome. Well, took her 3 kids, okay? The father took them, so she had to move out of the house. 4 years later, her attorney proved, because the baby was born with sickle cell trait.
Yeah.
He hired an expert. The expert said, this baby was not shaken. This baby died from complications to sickle cell anemia.
Wow.
4 years later, I said, why are these lawyers waiting 2, 3, 4, 5, some of 5, 7, 8, 9, 10 years? Why are we waiting to go to trial? That is a constitutional violation.
I mean, they just drag it out. They drag it. Because, like I said before, when you start getting into this stuff, it's not, your case is no longer what they took your child for. Your case is now being built on you by what your actions are when you're dealing with CPS. So now while you're sitting there like, well, they had no reason to come in there and blah, 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 blah. Well, they've gone beyond that. And they're talking about why you've been late for a visit, or you haven't taken your parenting classes, or you haven't done what they've asked, and that's the case that they're building on you. They're no longer playing in the game of, oh, well, what's going on here? Why did you take, like, that's it. That boat has sailed, right after they get that 72-hour hearing, that boat has sailed. That's why it's so important to get in on that 72-hour hearing, or whatever they call it in other places, placement hearing or something. When they actually take
dependency hearing.
When they take those things, when they, like as soon as they take your kid, you're supposed to be able to go to court within 72 hours, right? When they take your kids.
Yeah, but they don't do that. Some people I've talked to haven't been to court at all.
Right. Yeah.
I said, what do you mean? Their own policies say you have to have a hearing within 72 hours. I said, oh, but wait a minute. I forgot who I'm dealing with. I'm dealing with people who think they're above the law.
Yeah. Common sense goes right out the window when you're dealing with CPS. And like Vincent Davis used to say all the time, he would say, listen, everything that you think you know about the courtroom, you got to unlearn it and then relearn the nonsense that they've got going on. Because it's not anything like you learn in law school. It's not anything like you learn in any of this stuff. The stuff that they're doing now and all of that has nothing to do with the law at all. That's why it's so easy for us to say, look at all the constitutional violations that they're doing, because they're not using the Constitution at all.
That's a violation, and they can be in trouble for that. I've already said it. I've read it 100 times. It's Article 2, Paragraph 3, or Article 6, Paragraph 2 of the. I don't have it in here. Absolutely not. They took an oath to uphold the Constitution of the United States and the state constitution.
Mm-hmm. And
so that's bullshit. And people need to start calling them on their bullshit.
Yep.
And I've told people, when a judge tells you that the Constitution doesn't apply in their courtroom, you need to ask them, are you sure? And when they say yes, ask them one more time, are you sure that the Constitution does not apply in this courtroom? And when they say yes, say that's great. That means you have no immunity. Because if the Constitution doesn't apply, they have no immunity. Watch how fast people's demeanors change.
But what do you do when you get a judge that's a smartass with you up there, that starts playing the game? You know, like, oh, what do you do when the judge starts being a smartass with you and they don't go by the law, or they're not going by the rules or things like that? What do you do? Like, how do you fight against that when, you're like, Judge, Your Honor, are you the Constitution? Are you upholding the Constitution, or does your oath give you the rights to uphold the Constitution? What do you do if the judge is, instantly trying to talk over you, throw you in jail, do any of that stuff?
Well, then that's when you say, you know what? I'll see you in federal court then. Because they are Article 1 judges, magistrates, whatever you want to call them, administrative people.
Mm-hmm.
Article 3 judges overrule Article 1 judges. Start filing injunctions on these people, federal injunctions. That means when you file a federal injunction on a judge, that tells the federal courts that there's a problem. So what do? They contact the judge and say, hey, you better straighten up because we're watching you.
So,
but if it's going to go down like Gunner says it's going to go down, then we ain't going to have to worry about this no more.
No, I hope, and I really truly hope it does. I mean, everything looks good on paper, but it always does look good on paper, until you get into action. That's where things start to get, we get to see the, because you can't depend on what people are really going to truly do in essence of what's going on here. And this thing is so huge. The corruption is so big.
Well, here's the thing. It's kind of like a catch-22, right? Because when CPS submits their paperwork, you are this horrible person, right? I told you. On paper, I look like I'm slinging dope out my front door as many times as the cops are in here. So on paper, I look bad. Hell, I probably even look bad on body cam footage when I'm cussing everybody out. I don't care. But to meet me and to talk to me and to understand what's really going on, that's totally different. Now, here's the thing. So we'll have good things on paper. Then you got CPS's lawyers or the attorney generals, actually, who's going to be arguing these cases because that is their job. They are going to make all the parents, once again, look bad, but not on paper, by mouth.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? So we can look picture perfect on paper. And then whatever comes out of that attorney general's mouth, who do you think they're going to believe?
So in that, if that's I don't know. Let me hold on to that question for a minute.
Yeah.
Hold that one on for a whole time.
But if you have like 1,000, 1,500, 2,000, you have more than 1,000 people dealing with the same case, just different names, right? The courts can't help but to side with the thousands of people, because 1,000 people aren't going to have the almost exact same story out of different states at different times.
Right.
The same story in Maine, Virginia, Alaska, California, Texas, they're all the same.
Yeah.
Just different faces, different names, different everything. Caseworkers, different judges. They're all the same though. If you put all these horror stories together, it's one story.
Man, I'll tell you.
CPS lies. CPS fraudulently does paperwork. CPS will move, as Valerie calls, the goalpost. Once you've gotten everything done, then they move it to now you got to do this. We have lawyers that aren't doing shit, right?
Yep.
Because their first client is the state. We have prosecutors who believe that CPS workers and police's word are in stone. And that's why I said we need to have a Brady list that have CPS workers on it. We have a Brady list for the police department.
I agree. Do you want to tell everybody what the Brady list is?
A Brady list is when an officer has had problems with credibility.
Yep.
So let's say Joe Blow comes and arrests me, and the prosecutor checks his Brady list and sees that Joe Blow has had problems in the past. They will not call that officer to testify because he's had problems. And the defense attorney can too look at the Brady list and say, oh, he's got a problem with lying, or he's got a problem with excessive force, or whatever the case may be. That is what a Brady list is for a police department.
Yep. Yeah. So why couldn't we start such a thing? We can start a list. We'll put that on, I'll put that on the website, and we'll have a place that everybody can go write in their caseworkers' names and what their violations or what they've done about it and the status and the whole nine like that. So I'll put a section in the website that will do that.
And any police officers that have showed up to your house, you should be doing a Brady check on them too.
Mm-hmm. And what is that like? Kind of doing a FOIA, right? That's what you're kind of wanting to do, a FOIA on the officer.
Well, you should be able to pull it up because some of it's public record. If not, sure. And you do it to the prosecutor's office because the prosecutor already knows who they are.
Understood about that for sure. Man, it's just so frustrating because everything takes so damn long. You know, and you want your kids home. You want to do at least the littlest amount of damage you could possibly do to your children, you know, with them pulling this shenanigans on them. But it's so hard, you know, because you can only move at a snail's pace. It seems like a snail pace when you're in it, and then it seems like eternity when you're not. You know, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Absolutely.
Oh.
Well, I don't know.
Let's just hope that 2024 was the year of reckoning. Let's hope, and I have a lot of faith because I voted for him, that Trump changes shit in 2025, and then whoever the next president is keeps whatever he does in place, unlike Biden, and we can continue. I mean, we're still going to have to fight them because they're not going to go down without a fight.
They're going to spend all of this time trying to do this, that, and the other to try to turn things around. Oh, yeah, that's what I wanted to play real quick.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me see if I have it on here still. Check this, see if I got it here. Where is it? Where are you? I wanted to play this quick video here of our man, Josh Hawley here. Whoa, what the hell is that? Thought that was a picture of me behind that guy. That was weird. Whoa. All right, hold on a minute. I'll get it. Oh, here it is. Got it. All right. Check this. This is just. I don't know if I've played this. I don't think I've played this before here. Ah, where we go?
We're still
All
on.
right, we're still here. Good. We're still here. I'm trying to get to you, but I can't. What the hell's happening in here? I goes in Tiff.
Huh? What happened?
Tiff, am I frozen?
Yeah, you froze. You're frozen. Now I just saw you move. Darren's frozen. Darren. Uh-oh. I guess we're going to end the show because Darren froze. So join them tonight at 9 o'clock with Gunner, and I will try to be watching. Have a good night, everybody.